Hello everybody, this is Miss Nancy from the Clearview Library District, and I am here to do Clearview Homeschoolers Academy with you. Remember that Clearview Homeschoolers Academy is on the third Tuesday of every month, and it's on our YouTube channel from 1 to 2. You can access it anytime after it's posted at 1 to 2, okay? So if you miss it at the beginning, that's okay. Okay, we are doing Now and Then, What Did We Wear in Windsor? And this is our second program that we've done in collaboration with the Windsor History Museum because they have been doing a lot of exhibits about the early Windsor, not quite pioneers. It's more the Windsor people around the turn of the century, the late 1800s and the early 1900s, which is when Windsor got started. And so they have a really good exhibit going now about clothes and what people wore then. And so I designed our unit around what they're doing. So I hope you take advantage of Homeschoolers Day at the museum. That information is in your packet too. Okay, so let's get started. Let's look at your kit. Now, first of all, you picked up a kit, I hope. That's what it looks like. Okay. And you're going to have a packet in there that looks like this. And you're going to have snap a pic, okay? Remember that we love, love, love it if you take a picture of the children doing the activities or interacting with me during the video. We love to share your pictures on social media so other people can see the fun that we're having. So snap a pic, okay? Now, from at home, you're going to need to get a couple things. And excuse me, but my scissors are out of reach. Hold on. So, I think that tells you that you are going to want some scissors, okay? So get a good pair of scissors because you're going to do lots of cutting today, okay? And then you're going to want some glue, okay? And you might want colored pencils or crayons or markers or all of those things, okay? So if you need them, and if you like them, get them out. You also might want a Sharpie or a black marker. You will need a pencil or a pen, okay? So let's get started because this kit has all kinds of really fun stuff in it, okay? First of all, you're going to find 3, we could call them paper dolls, or we could call them gingerbread men, paper gingerbread men or women. Anyway, you're going to have 3 people shapes, okay? You're going to have a handful of stuff like this. And in that, you are going to find some ribbons, and some pipe cleaners. I wonder what you could do with those. There's a glittery one. I think there's some black ones in here. Some of you might have brown ones. Who knows? Okay. So there's pipe cleaners. And then there's some yarn. Okay. Now, you can use the yarn for your people's hair, or you could use it for some of their clothing. You could use it to make a belt or straps or a necklace or whatever you think. Okay. So don't feel limited by what you're going to do with these materials because you can do anything you want. Okay, so that's the yarn. The chenille stems, you probably would use this one. You could use it for hair if you wanted to. You could use the black ones for hair too, or they could be part of clothing again. Okay, so kind of let your imagination run wild because you could find all kinds of things. Ribbons, you can use these in the paper people's hair. You could use them as part of their dress, something around a hat, okay? So you have a lot of different ones. Now, I'm not real sure that I'm actually going to be able to, I did find them. You should have some jewels, okay? So you can decide how to use those too. I think you'll have 3 or 4 of them. Make sure they're not stuck in the little folds at the very bottom of your kit. Okay. Now you're going to find that you have different colors of paper and different amounts of each color. You'll have a Kind of strange. Piece of fabric. Oh, you have some glittery stuff. Okay. Doilies. Doilies could be really good for adding lace to one of your paper people if you wanted to. You can cut these up, remember. There's another piece of ribbon. Okay, I think each of you got 3 or 4 pieces of fabric, and you can use those to dress your paper people too. Okay? And then you're going to have a little packet of scrapbook paper. Okay? And this is to use for clothes, hats, shoes, whatever you think your paper person needs. Some of them are two-sided, so make sure you look at the back. Okay? So let's go through your handout first, because you need to do your handout so that you know what to do with your paper people. Okay? So let's get started. Okay, this is now and then. What did we wear in Windsor? And adults, make sure you read through this with your kids, because they'll understand a lot more about what they're doing after they've been through the packet. Okay, so you will notice that your first search, after you read about our program and about Windsor's homeschool day at the museum, you will see we start here with a link for the Library of Congress. Okay, now I might send this out to you guys. Hopefully you've checked your email and you received this electronically too, so that those links are a little bit easier because they're kind of long. But you did Library of Congress last month if you were here. Library of Congress is one of those resources that people don't think a lot about, but boy, there's some really good stuff in there. Library of Congress is the largest library in the world, and there's so much for you to see. So you are going to look for pictures of children at the turn of the century. Pictures of children that might very well look a lot like the children that we would have had in Windsor at the turn of the century. So there's the link. And then what do you think of those pictures? What are the children doing? And what do their clothes look like? Okay, so you have some room to write about what you saw. Okay, your second search is using the library's online resources. Now, when you need to learn something, I think a lot of people just go to Google. And we say, well, Google it. You can get the answer. Well, you can get an answer if you Google it, but it might not be the right answer, because nothing on Google is guaranteed to be true. When you use a resource like the Library of Congress or a database at the library, those are resources that will be true. They are good resources, good places for you to find information. And I show you the path to go through to find some pictures of Pioneer life, okay? And there's 2 little articles in here that I would like, well, 2 articles. 1 article and 1 little quiz you can take. The first one is number 8, and it's learning about Pioneer life. And it's a great article, and it tells you about what children did and what their life was like and what family life was like. Excellent article. Please read that with the adults at your house. And then number 29 is called Busy, Busy, Kids on the Frontier. And that's a little quiz where you can go through and try to make little X's on, did a boy do that chore or did a girl do that chore? Or did both of them do that chore? Because you'll see quite a difference in what boys and girls might have done on the frontier. Now, you also need to realize that if they're out in the middle of the country and they don't have very many neighbors and they don't go to school, you might find that boys and girls share a lot of the same chores because they need to for the family to be able to get by. Okay, so your questions, would you like to live like those children did in the article? And then from the quiz, you can write about the chores that boys and girls did. And would you rather be a boy or a girl in pioneer times based on their chores? And then what did the boys' clothes look like compared to the girls' clothes? Okay, so you have some room. So when you think about the turn of the century, really think about, would you like to live there? And what life was like for the families I think you'll see that from going through that chore list and trying to check whether it was a boy or girl, that children had to work very hard too on the frontier or in early Windsor. Okay? Okay, number 3 is a resource that's from University of Northern Colorado. So again, that's really good information, much better than Googling. And there's pictures of children in early Colorado. So all of these pictures from these 2 links are Colorado children. So you will have a really good time looking at those. And again, what do the boys wear and what do the girls wear? Okay? And then I want you to really think about the whole thing and think about what, if a child wears a certain thing, how does that help them do what they need to do in pioneer times? Okay, did their clothes fit what they do? And then think about, well, do your clothes fit what you do, the activities and the things that you do during the day? And why do you wear what you wear? Okay? Okay, now the next line tells you we can do the craft, so we'll do that in just a second. There's also some paper dolls and some coloring sheets that you can do attached to this packet. And here are some books that you could come and check out if you're really interested in life in a Colorado town or in a frontier town around the turn of the century. Okay, so come and check out a couple books. There's probably some movies and some ebooks too you could check out. Okay? Okay, let's get started with our craft. So, you know that you have 1, 2, and 3 paper people. One of your paper people, whichever one you choose, is going to be from turn of the century Windsor. So you are going to dress this paper person, whichever one you pick up, like a child in early Windsor would have dressed. Okay, it can be a boy or girl, that's up to you. Okay? The second one, whichever one you choose, will be what you dress like now. Okay, or what a child dresses like now. It doesn't have to be you. It could be your brother, your sister, or a friend at school. You're going to dress one of these like now. Okay, and then the third one that you do, and it doesn't matter which one you pick up, the third one that you do is going to be a child in the future. And this is where I want your imagination to really go crazy, because we don't have a clue what children in the future are going to wear. So make it what you think a child might wear based on what you think a child will be doing in the future. Okay? This one will be super fun. Actually, I think all of them are going to be super fun. Okay? So there's your people. I'm going to grab a person and I'm going to dress this person like a pioneer boy in early Windsor. Okay? Now, I don't want you to make yours look just like mine. Okay? I want you to take all of these materials and be totally creative and make them look like what you want them to look like. Okay? And if you ever wonder why I don't show you a lot about how to do things, it is because I want you to use your little brains and your hands and just think about what you want it to be and do it the way you want it to be. Okay? So, but I will show you on this one because I'll show you some tricks. Okay? So my first trick is, if you want this paper person to wear a shirt out of this one, then put your paper person on the back side of that paper. Do you see how I've got this person? So the shirt, which I'm going to make first, is going to come to its neck and to its wrists. Okay, so I better move that over just a little bit longer, because I think this young person in early Windsor probably would wear long sleeves because it's fall and it's getting cooler. Okay, then set it down and pick up your pencil or your pen and just trace a shirt shape around your paper person. Okay, now I'll show you what that means, what it looks like when I get done. So see, I have held this up against the paper. Oh, can you see it? There you go. Now you can see it. See? I've just traced around. And then I'm going to use my goodness, I'm having trouble with stuff today. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to cut this shirt out for this paper person, okay? Now, make sure you go a little bit outside the line or on the line so that the shirt is big enough, because we don't want your paper person's skin poking out, okay? Okay, so there's the shirt. Now, it's going to be glued on my paper person, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Oh, there. But the neck looks kind of different to me. I think I'll do something funny with the neck. Maybe I'll make it kind of a V-neck, okay? Let's see how that works. Okay, so there is my shirt. Okay, now I just knocked my glue off the table, so excuse me while I grab it. Okay, hopefully your stuff will stay where you need it. Mine isn't staying where I need it today. Okay, I'm going to glue the shirt on my paper person. Okay, just a little bit of glue on the back side. There, make sure you go around the edges so that glue will hold it in where you need it to be. And set it on your paper person and just move it around until you feel like it's just where you want it. Okay? And there's my shirt. Now, I did go ahead and glue the shirt on, but you might want to cut out all of your parts before you glue them on and just lay them on your paper person so that if they're not quite right when you get all ready, you can change them. Okay? So there's that part. Now, I know somewhere in this mess, there is some blue. And I'm thinking this person, well, no, actually, I'm going to do brown. I'm wondering if they had blue jeans or if maybe they just had pants. So I'm going to make my Pioneer boy, or my early Windsor boy, a pair of brown pants. Okay? So again, I'm going to turn it over, sit it down on the table, and make the pants. And I'm just going to make them come to the feet because I'm thinking that this child, because it is fall, will probably wear shoes or boots. Okay? So hopefully you can see that. Yes, you can. Okay. And then I'm going to get my scissors again, and I'm going to cut out the pants. Okay? Okay. Now, you know that we got a lot of fun materials that you can use to dress these three paper people in your kit, but you might have more at home. If you want your present day person to have purple hair, because some present day people do have purple hair, then you could use purple yarn or ribbon, or you could use your markers or your crayons to make the paper, the hair. Oh my goodness. So really use your creativity, and if you have stuff at home that you could use it. It's good. Okay, now there's the pants, but I think that if you looked at all those resources that we had and you looked at all the pictures, you might have found that a lot of boys wore suspenders. Do you know what suspenders are? They hold their pants up, don't they? So before I glue the pants on, I'm going to glue some suspenders on. So I made some brown straps. Oh, I know another thing you might have at home. You might have buttons. Buttons would be fun to add. I was thinking it would be really cool if I had buttons to use on these suspenders, but I don't have any. You might. Okay? So there's one suspender, and then I'm going to cut it off up here. Okay? So that'll keep one half of the pants on, and then let's get the other suspender. cut it a little too fat. I'm going to make it a little thinner, okay? Okay. And a little bit of glue. I used a lot of glue on that last one. Maybe I can make my glue a little less with this one. Okay? Okay. My paper person might have some dog hair stuck to them too. I certainly have some of it stuck to my fingers. Okay, so there's 2 suspenders, and I'm going to cut this one off. Okay, and then let's glue on the pants. Now remember that when you put the clothes on after you have cut them out, that the part of the paper that has your writing on it will probably be the part that you glue down, depending on how you cut them out. So make sure you kind of experiment with that and see how the clothes fit the best. Okay? Now, get some glue to come out, glue on the pants. Okay? Okay. So my Pioneer paper person now has on pants and suspenders and a shirt. Okay? What else do we need? You think we should make some boots? Okay. Now you might want to plan ahead a little bit because some of your colors you don't have a lot of. Okay? For example, here is the black. And if you're going to use it for more than one paper person, you might not have enough. So make sure you kind of look at your materials and see what you think you're going to use them for. Okay? Now I am drawing around the foot to make this paper person some black boots. Okay? And now I'm cutting it out. Okay? You turn them over. Oh, that worked out pretty good. Yes. I think it goes on this foot. See, I got a little bit confused because I wasn't sure which foot I cut it for. But those feet are pretty similar, so it probably won't matter. Okay, so I'm gluing one shoe on, and then I'm going to cut out another shoe. Okay, so again, I'm just tracing it on the paper from the outside of the sheet, and then I'm going to cut it out. Okay, the black is a little bit harder because you can hardly see the line, but we can do it. Now remember when you're doing your person that's the person from Windsor, from the past in Windsor, that you probably will use all of those pictures and things that you saw doing your searches to decide how this person is going to dress. Okay, how this child would dress. Okay, this is what I think maybe a boy would wear in early Windsor. Okay, boots and pants and suspenders and a shirt. Now, I have a piece of black cut for my young person's hair. So, you can do anything you want with the hair. If you'd rather color it on, you sure can. I'm going to use some yarn. Could also use the pipe cleaners. So I went all the way around the edges of this head, and then I'm going to stick this black yarn on. Okay? I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so now my Pioneer boy in turn of the century Windsor has hair. Okay? Now I need to do a face. And you can make the face as elaborate as you want or not. That's up to you, okay? I'm going to make 2 eyes. I think it's always hard to make eyes that match each other, and a nose, and I'm going to make a big smile, okay? So I did those all with my Sharpie, but then I'm going to get out a colored pencil and make the eyes brown, okay? So let's do that, okay? So my person in early Windsor has brown eyes. Oh, you know, I could add a lot of detail to the face. Let's see, I could add eyebrows. Yes, okay, I added eyebrows and maybe little dimples. Okay, maybe a little cleft in the chin. There. Okay, I'm going to make the inside of the eyes darker because our irises are darker, aren't they? Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit of red and just put it along the black to make the mouth red a little bit. Though I guess our mouths are really kind of pink, aren't they? Okay, so there's my person. Now remember, yours isn't going to look like mine. Yours is going to look however your creativity and your imagination makes it look. Okay, and especially when you get to that future one, you could have a really good time with that one. Okay, so I want you to have a really good time. Dress your 3 people, okay, in the past, the present, and the future, and then take a picture of them with you in it and send it to me at nancy@clearviewlibrary.org so that I can see how you envision the past, the present, and the future. Okay? Have a really good time. Make sure you email me or contact me by phone if you need to, and have fun doing this activity, okay? Okay. And also remember to go to the museum, look at the information, and see what you want to do there. Okay? Try to use as many of your materials as you can, or some materials that you have at home. Okay? But you don't have to use them all. Okay. So have fun doing this. I think this is really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. Have fun with it, and we'll see you next month. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye. See you later.